Hi everyone and welcome to a new episode of our expert series. Today I have the pleasure to introduce you to Nik Hewitt here, with whom we are going to talk about artificial intelligence in relation to content creation and also about data analytics. Nik is a BAFTA-winning storyteller with nearly 3 decades of experience in digital content creation and IT and cybersecurity journalism. And currently, he's the senior content marketing manager at TrueFort, and we could define him as a committed advocate for workplace mentoring and equality and a champion for the use of AI in digital marketing. Hi, Nik. Welcome.
That covers it. Perfect.
I would like to start by asking you to tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey.
Okay. Many moons ago, I studied script writing and TV production at uni, and I worked on features for Central TV and a lot of indie projects after I graduated. And I was dabbling with things online and moved into digital about 94, 95, something like that. I was in newspapers for many years, finding ways for them to monetize their legacy data and new ways of presenting news and property ads and classified, all sorts of things. Back when the online press was pretty much in its infancy. I guess I've always been something of an early adopter, and I joined Twitter and Facebook the day they came out of beta, out of curiosity. Then I worked in virtual worlds for a while, again, news related, using them for campaigns and training journalists. And I worked for a digital agency in Colorado for a few years. Worked with an amazing team of really hardcore marketing and digital folks, and I learned a lot from them, creating copy and social strategy. Then I worked in Stockholm for an SEO company, creating brand content and SEO PPC stuff. And then I was head of social for an agency in Nottingham for about 6 years. And you never know where our industry is going to take you. You work in an agency, and after a while you find you're sort of growing a specialism, and people come to you for that specialism. And I love B2B engineering and technical brands. And when I moved to Ireland, where I live now, I'd been working in automotive, but COVID put a stop to that. And I'd been working for an IT support company as well. So when the opportunity came up to work with a cybersecurity brand, an industry that's just like massively in growth, I jumped at it. And I've been in cybersecurity now for about 6 years, I think, for a few brands, and I love it. Team I'm working with at TrueFort is small but mighty, and we've got a great product that people actually need. So it's an easy sell. I love the research and learning about the topic, and the target demographics are all genuine people with genuine problems and a bit geeky like us. We can have real conversations, and I have a lot of autonomy, which is brilliant. Actually to work towards success, and the directors really value our experience. So we're getting great results this year, and cybersecurity is never dull.
Yeah, I agree. I have a work also in cybersecurity project. So yeah. So from content creator to content creator, how do you use artificial intelligence in your day-to-day? Many people imagine that when we talk about using AI in content creation, it means that we don't write anything anymore, but that's far from reality. Like, can you tell us how you use it?
Very far from reality. So I've got to get this out of the way. AI isn't a replacement for people. I think it's very much a collaborative tool. There's a few AI tools I pretty much use every day, and they sort of augment what I do. You still need a human to create input. You still need a human to add in the humanity. You need a content marketing to put it all together and make it work for the right audience with the right voice. My role's pretty senior, and I have a lot to do in the day. I have help, but I'm also hands-on. Overall, AI in different forms probably shaves about 2 hours off every workday, and that's 2 hours I spend getting 10 hours more work done every week, whether that's checking my work, scheduling my meetings, picking up little automated tasks, abbreviating content for other use elsewhere, or just being a sounding board or an improved version of Google, really, whatever. I'm using AI right now to make notes on what we're talking about and to take a transcript in case it gives me any ideas for my own blog later on. That's the advantages of AI immediately, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. Like for me, it's also like an assistant, like I'm pretty much confident with my work now, and I feel like I have somewhere to go if I need some help and not be stuck, in some projects. So it's very helpful.
Totally agree.
Yeah. And if you had to create that top 3 list of tools or platforms you use in your daily work, what would they be, and how they help you?
Well, Grammarly straight away. I suppose Grammarly is an AI tool, and that's pure fried gold, and it's an obvious one. Whether I'm writing a solution brief or an article for PR, it's there in line, keeping me on the straight and narrow. For starters, I don't naturally write in US English, and I don't have an English degree. And the plagiarism checker is brilliant for checking that I'm not reproducing anything where Google will penalize me for duplicate content, because that does happen. If you're writing original content. Also, I can train it with a brand voice that I've developed, and it can help other people to write in an active voice across the whole company with our brand traits before I get eyes on whatever they've done, which probably halves my editing time. Anything, honestly, that stops people from putting 2 spaces after a full stop. It helps other people with sentence structure and vocabulary, and just promotes a better level of clarity for technical documents I get from the likes of sales engineers or product specialists. And it makes them think about legibility before it hits my desktop. I wish we'd had it 20 years ago instead of Clippy or whatever.
Yeah, totally.
I guess, I suppose that's number 1. I suppose number 2 would have to be ChatGPT. I guess it's pretty obvious, but ChatGPT is a godsend. Just being able to ask it to explain technical concepts like, so what is microsegmentation? Explain it to me as though I'm a 6th form or an A-level student, or, you know, whatever, without hassling our product marketing manager every Slack every half hour or whatever. It's a massive time saver. Often while I'm writing, I'll just ask it questions to give me inspiration or to clarify concepts. What I do is pretty technical, and while I'm pretty savvy these days, it's so useful. And yeah, I'd say it's a collaborative process. I use it for writing short form versions of longer content too, like write subheadings for this with these keywords, or make this 60 words for SEO, or turn this into a tweet with the hashtags blah. You know, it's very rarely I use it for anything and then use that as a final result. But I think the hardest thing sometimes is a blank page. And it's great for giving you a starting point if you give it the right information. It's all about the prompt and training each instance to know the target demographic and the brand voice, to give it all the facts and all the figures, and then see what it brings back. It surprised me with new ideas or new ways of looking at what we do so many times. ChatGPT's what I think Plus is $20 a month. That's a bargain for the hours of time and messing about it saves for hours. And it's just a no-brainer for business. You know? And I think the next one I use most is probably Midjourney. And that's been a really big disruptor for me. Midjourney is the image generation tool. I use it a lot outside of work. And it's got a pretty steep learning curve, I guess. But once you get the hang of it, it's so useful. As well as describe an image, I don't know, 2 cats sitting on a wall. You can specify the size, the aspect ratio, the look and feel, even the lens and the camera you want to use, you know, the lighting, the genre, like the art style or the director, whatever. That means you can actually quite easily keep a brand style, which is what I do on the TrueFort blog. We have a certain look and feel of imagery, lots of patterns and converging lines and symmetrical elements and things like that, plus a really distinctive contrast color palette. I get that by dropping it into Photoshop Duotone afterwards, save it as a PNG, done. Finding an image like that on Pixabay or Shutterstock or wherever would probably take me ages. In Midjourney, it takes me 5 minutes. And again, there's the price. You know, Midjourney Pro is £20 a month for 15 hours of server time. That's hundreds of images. 5 Shutterstock, 5 images. That's what, about £30, something like that.
It's great.
That's got to be my 3. Yeah.
Okay, great. They are really game changer for us. Yeah, absolutely. And if you had to say like the biggest benefit of working with AI for you, what would you say it is? Like the bigger one?
Time. Yeah. As I say, on a full content day with no meetings, 9 to 5, I'd probably say between, honestly, an hour and 2 hours using AI day to day. That's like another white paper or another explainer script every week, and just a lot less hassle and friction all around for the financial outlay and the effort of learning how to use it. What's not to love?
Yeah, totally. So, and you know, with this advance in the AI world, it comes like this discussion of if AI is going to replace jobs, or many, you know, like roles are going to be replaced by AI. As a content creator, how do you perceive the role of artificial intelligence will coexist with professionals like us, and how do you think the future will look like?
Do you know, it's the question people ask me the most now in like a social situation. I was sat around a campfire the other day with friends drinking whiskey, and somebody asked me this. And honestly, unless you're a hairdresser or an undertaker, well, yeah, it's going to change things. It's, you know, it's a disruptor. When I'm recruiting now, I ask potential folks if they use AI. If they do, that's possible 2 hours more productivity they can give me every day, plus get in on the collaborative tools that I use, and that makes the process smoother and more accurate. That's a big plus on anyone's CV, on anyone's resume. And I think a lot of recruiters will be looking at it like that in the future. This is kind of a disruptor, like online was a disruptor for print. And when I worked for the newspapers, I saw a lot of damn good journalists fade away because they just couldn't embrace the new technology and they resisted it. And I think we have to embrace the technology, quite frankly, or get left behind. We have to make it our job, or yes, it's going to take our jobs. If we learn how to use it, though, and embrace the time and the research it saves as part of that collaborative process, we'll be fine. In fact, we'll be at the forefront of the new way of doing content, more informed, faster, slicker, more responsive, more targeted. I think we have to learn to prompt and be curious about things like AI to set us apart and move forward. It's not going away. And I totally stand by the writers in the current writers' strike, but content marketing is a job with a paycheck. We have deadlines, we have schedules, we have KPIs and targets. And, you know, we have to use the tools at our disposal to make the best possible impact in the shortest time to results. Being really brutal, we're here to support the sales process and provide good value for our target audiences. That's the nature of the beast, and that's the future. But we can be a part of it if we choose. All the big AI platforms and assistants are free to try. You know, what is it they say? It is better to be at the right-hand side of the devil than in his path. I don't know. Yeah. But if we don't play, you know, when you're green, you're growing. Once you're ripe, you rot. Yeah,
exactly. I agree totally. Yeah. Yeah, it's here to stay, and it's better to embrace it and take advantage of it than to be like, you know, afraid of it, afraid of technology.
We can't put our head under a stone with this one. It really is so disruptive. This just
yeah. But it's great. So I would like you to ask you about your experience with data analysis. I'm interested to know about this because, you know, Skedler is a tool that helps data analysts by automating Grafana and Kibana reports. So this topic, I think it's of great interest for our community for sure. So if I'm not mistaken, you use Tableau for data visualization, and I want to know, how has this tool helped you transform data into visually engaging representations without like maybe requiring extensive technical expertise that maybe you already know? But
that's the beauty of AI, isn't it? Without the technical expertise. Yeah, I've not used it a massive amount, Tableau, just the intro version. But understanding and visualizing data is really important for marketing and content creation. And Tableau is a data visualization tool, and it just lets you turn, how can I put it, raw data into actionable insights is the way I'd write it. I've used it for visualizing customer demographics and purchase behaviors and interactions. And this sort of helps with, well, it helps the rest of the team see that market segmentation. It's brilliant for showing other team members, you know, and C-suite stakeholders, the core of what you do and how it's having an effect. You can really visualize key metrics like click-through rates and conversion rates and ROI. It's all about inbound traffic and SEO efforts for me, and it really helps see performance and how campaigns are working or not in a visual way without just having a bunch of numbers in front of me, which doesn't mean jack to me. It's a big help in showing which channels and tactics are getting the return on investment. So it's great for making more informed budget decisions because of that. I've used it for data journalism, so infographics, and it gives you insights you just wouldn't see otherwise from, quite honestly, technical data you might not totally understand until you see it displayed in a clearer way, like Tableau can. Driven stories get traction, especially in data-driven stories, especially in cybersecurity. And I need to be given that data, and I need to be given that information. And it's rare people have time to do that for me. So being able to do it myself, it helps you spot trends and track engagement as well for social channels. It puts in a sort of extra layer on website analytics. It's good for A/B testing. We did some work with it with A/B testing visualizations from PPC ads. And once you've got that sort of thing, you just drag and drop them into your presentation to show where the money needs to go. It's great. As I say, I've not used it a lot, but I know there's a lot of plug and play elements to it. So you can import Google Analytics and Salesforce and SQL databases. Plus it's real time, which is actually fascinating to watch when you launch something is going to have legs, and you watch the data flow as people take the journey from social to the blog to the solution brief to booking a demo or whatever. Picture's worth 1,000 words, as they say. And again, I'm not trained as a data scientist, so if I want those insights, I'd have to pay for them, and I'd still have to source all the numbers for them and talk to all the people to get all the data anyway. I think there's a competitive edge to be had there, and understanding and responding to audience behaviors it's just expected. It's new normal,
Yeah, absolutely. That was my last question for you. I wanted to to mention this data analysis part. I think it's very interesting as well. And before we finish, I would like you to share with us, with the audience, what project that you are currently working on, or what is your next goal? What do you like to do in the future?
Wow. Well, I have a lot of misfiring neurons, so I have a lot of projects on. I don't know. Well, I have my fan podcasts, and I talk content marketing with the folks over at the BAFTA-winning podcast, amongst other podcasts. And I'm always writing my own work, which I use very little AI for, actually. And I try to keep my blog updated. Things are always busy at work at TrueFort, and I'm back in England next week to see friends and family, which will be nice. My eldest son is off to university in Belfast this year, and he's studying game design, and I'm helping him with a couple of projects for fun. I've got a VR building project on right now in Oculus, and I'm still scripting in Second Life for fun. I've been playing with AI animation of late, and a friend and I have got a project using chatgpt God mode, Be Afraid, which is developing its own social presence right this very minute. Because you got to keep experimenting. You never know.
Awesome. You're very active. It's crazy. That's awesome.
You gotta be. It's the nature of the beast, though. We're polymaths, content marketing, polymaths.
Yeah.
You've got to play.
If you stop, then you're lost.
Yep.
Okay, that's great. So thank you very much, Nik. It has been a pleasure to have you here today. And I will share with the audience the links to your job, to your podcast, to your blog, so they can read more about it. And I invite all the people watching us or hearing this podcast to follow Skedler, because we are going to be talking with more experts. And I hope to see you in the future as well.
Bila, thank you very much.